Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine Carson, and I am hosting the Writing Center's open house today. If you can hear me, just to make sure, please click the hand to raise your hand. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, one of you can hear me. Okay, thank you. So today's open house is an introduction to the Writing Center. I'm going to show you how to make an appointment. That's probably the most important thing. And give you some resources that are available through Full Sail Connect. Um, and then it's okay if you don't see the hand, I got you. We'll go through Full Sail Connect a little bit, and I'll introduce you to some APA resources, which might be helpful to you as you venture through your time at Full Sail. Like I said, my name is Catherine Carson. I am a course director in the English department. I teach professional writing, and I also teach a writing course in the intensive English department, which is for our international students. I help out quite a bit with the Writing Center. I do long-term projects with them, and I also um, take appointments in the evenings and sometimes during the day. Misty Woolard is the coordinator for the Writing Center, and she is the person that you would be speaking with. If you email the Writing Center for any reason, she'll be the person to confirm your appointments. She is your go-to person for the Writing Center. So we can help with any type of writing that you do at Full Sail. We can help you with your English composition essays or your planning worksheets and outlines. We can help you write the content that goes in your presentations for CRP. We can help you with resumes and cover letters, screenplays, short stories, all sorts of writing that you do here at Full Sail. And we can also help you with APA formatting. The Writing Center has two sets of hours. We are open for on-campus appointments and checking email between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays. So that's Monday through Friday. For online appointments, we're available a little bit longer. We are available from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All of this is in Eastern Time. We also offer, I think I have a slide for this coming up, but we have library open hours, and I'll show you how to find those as well. You do not need to have an appointment to attend library hours. The most popular type of appointment is the online appointment. We can serve students who are campus or off-campus students, I should say online students, through online appointments. And I think that they're so popular because you don't actually need to come to campus to complete these appointments. We use GoToMeeting, which is similar to GoToTraining, which I'm using for this presentation today. With GoToMeeting, you're essentially assigned a meeting room online, and you will meet your tutor in that room. It's just you and the tutor. And imagine it like this. You've got a room, and you have to have a key to open the room and meet somebody there. So you are given a link to get into that room at a particular time. Unlike GoToTraining, we can't send automatic reminders in your time zone of when the appointments are. We schedule all the appointments in Eastern Time, and we can help you out. If you tell us you're in Central Time and you're not quite sure what time that is in Eastern, we can help you out with that. But when we do confirm appointments, they are in Eastern Time, so keep that in mind if you're in a different time zone. Online appointments, well, all appointments must be requested at least 24 business hours in advance. So if you would like an appointment on Tuesday morning, you need to ask by Monday morning. If you would like an appointment on Monday, you need to make sure you ask before 5 p.m. on Friday. Like I said, the email is checked between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So appointment requests for the next day that we receive after 5 p.m., we aren't actually going to see until the next day, and we can't make same day appointments. So you would be put off until the following business day. So just keep that in mind. On-campus appointments are held in Building 4D, which is probably where most of your instructors are located if you've visited an instructor in the past. All of our liberal studies departments are located in 4D. We don't actually have a specified room, but we have an area in 4D where we do appointments. So an on-campus appointment is booked exactly the same way that online appointments are booked. You can either use the form that's on Connect, which is probably the easiest way to book an appointment, or you can email the Writing Center, or you can call the Writing Center. So I am just going to switch over to the Writing Center's page on Connect for a couple of minutes and show you how this works. So all you need to do from the Connect homepage is search for Writing Center up in the search bar, and then Writing Center will come up. Click on the page, and here you go. So usually the appointment request form will be open, and it's right down here under quick links. Like I said, all appointments are scheduled in the Eastern time zone. Appointments must be made at least one business day in advance, and requests sent after 5 p.m. Eastern will be processed as received the following business day. And requests that are sent in over the weekend will be processed on Monday morning. So the appointment request form is also checked Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we begin the form here. I'm not actually going to fill out the whole form. I just want to show you what it looks like. You've got your name. We prefer your Full Sail email address instead of a personal email address. Your preferred appointment type, online or on campus. So you select that there. And then what do you need most help with? Are you looking for help with APA style, essay writing, screenwriting, English as a second language? So you might be working on multiple things at once, like grammar and a short story. Choose what works the best for the help that you are looking for. If you know the name of a tutor that you would like to work with, type it right here, but you can leave that blank if you don't know of a particular tutor. And you are allowed to schedule up to 2 appointments per week. If you are trying to schedule 1 appointment, click 1 appointment. If you're trying to schedule 2 appointments, click that. Then we come down to available times and days. Even if you're scheduling 1 appointment, we need at least 2 options in order to best accommodate you and to accommodate you as quickly as possible so that there's not a lot of back and forth between us. So these times are when appointments are possible. So you have Monday, you could have a 9 a.m., a 10 a.m., or an 11 a.m. appointment. Of course, 11 a.m. appointments would go for an hour until 12 p.m. And then afternoons are 12 to 4, evenings are 5 to 8. Like I said, 8 p.m. is the latest appointment, but it goes until 9. So you pick two days and chunks of time that work for you, more if you're trying to schedule 2 appointments, and then the form continues, but because I'm not actually filling it out, I'm not going to be able to go to the next page. But that's the gist of it. That's what the form looks like. If you prefer to send an email, or if the appointment request form isn't working, possibly because Misty is out and maybe I'm scheduling appointments, you would need to go down here, click to email the Writing Center at writingcenter@fullsail.com, and give this information: your name, your degree program, what kind of assistance you need, preferred day or time, and preference of online or on campus. And like it says here, you will be submitted for 1 GPS point for your first visit to the Writing Center. You do need to attend the appointment in order to get that GPS point. If you are unable to attend an appointment that you have scheduled, we ask that you please let us know, even if it's just an hour before the appointment is scheduled. That lets our tutors know that we won't be expecting you at that time. The earlier you can tell us, the better, because we may be able to fit another student into your time slot. Some days we completely fill up, and we want to be able to serve as many students as possible. So if you know that something is coming up for you and you won't be able to make your appointment, please let us know. For those of you who are here, you are probably familiar with the Writing Center's page on Connect already because you have signed up to go to the open house, which is great. So welcome. Oh, all right, there we go. I want to make you aware of a couple of other things. Our library hours right now, you can find them down here, are Wednesday afternoons from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Those hours change monthly, so keep an eye on this. Like I said, you do not need an appointment. It's first come, first serve for library hours. We have a little section in the library. So take some time, go through our page on Connect, check out the files, which offer some good APA resources, check out our blog, which offers tips on grammar, writing essays, APA, and other writing issues. All right, so I will go back to my presentation now. Library hours, we just talked about that. Going to skip down to this. You can also call us to make an appointment. Our extension is 2340. If the phone isn't answered, we're very likely to be in appointments at that time. So please keep that in mind. If you are trying to schedule an appointment by phone, make sure that you do leave a message with your name and a callback number for you. Unlike cell phones, our office phones don't show us who called if they don't leave a message. So it's necessary for you to leave a message if you call and nobody picks up. All right. I think that covers how to set up an appointment. If you have any questions about that at this point, please type them in the chat box. And while I wait for those questions, I'm going to move on to some tips we have for writers here at Full Sail. So no matter what type of writing you do, writing is a process. And it's generally accepted that there are 5 steps in this process. There's pre-writing, which is when you do all your planning, drafting, revising, editing, and then publishing or turning it in. We have some recommendations for you. Make a plan. And I'll take you through a couple of steps of that. So making a plan has to do with setting up your calendar, writing reminders for yourself if you need to. I am a huge fan of iCal. I have it synced between my phone and my computer, and everything is in there. I used to use a different app for reminders, but I found that I didn't like going from one place to another. I preferred putting items that I needed to do in my calendar and then having alerts set up so that I heard about them 15 minutes before I needed to do something or at the time of the event. So that works for me. Whatever organizational time management system you have in mind that works for you, use it. Figure out when your assignment is due and count backward. How much time do I need to do this? How much time do I need to complete research? How much time do I need to draft and plan? Go backward and set yourself goals for each step of the way. So the very first step after you make a plan is to make sure you understand the assignment. We recommend that as soon as an assignment is available to you on FSO, you go ahead and read the directions, watch any videos, attend a lecture, and avail yourself of the instructor. Ask them questions if you have any questions about the assignment. Then brainstorm. You can do a mind map, which looks kind of like a spider web. You can just write for 5 minutes without worrying about grammar, spelling, punctuation. Just write about the topic and then go back through after 5 minutes and circle the best ideas. There are a lot of different possibilities for brainstorming out there. The point Oh, you can talk it through too. You can talk it over with somebody. You can talk to yourself, talk into a tape recorder. Um, Tap into your best learning style and just get those ideas out there without judging them. If you need to do research for your project, this is a good time to do it because you've brainstormed some ideas. Maybe you want to look into one topic a little bit more. Maybe you're required to do research in a certain area. This is the time to do it. Give yourself plenty of time to do research, especially if you are using the library's databases. What you're looking for may not come up immediately, and you may have to experiment with different search terms. And I do want to caution you that you may not always find exactly what you're looking for. You may need to be open to other possibilities. Changing the course of your writing and what your thesis statement is even is part of the writing process. It's part of revision. And your thesis statement and your ideas can evolve throughout the process of writing a paper. Now, this is more, even though it says outline, I'm going to show you an outline in a second. This is more of a brainstorming, idea collecting example. So I'm sorry that this is kind of small, but hopefully you can get the main idea. This is generally what an outline looks like, and this would be for essentially a 6-paragraph essay following the typical essay format. So you've got your introduction, hook, background information, the all-important thesis statement, main idea 1, evidence, main idea 2, evidence, main idea 3, evidence. If you're writing an argument, you would include a counter argument, and then your conclusion. So essentially, you have a Roman numeral for each paragraph, and you write notes for yourself of what's going to be in each paragraph. And here, this is smaller than I intended it to be, but the next step with writing an outline is to fill it in with complete sentences, and then you can just transfer some of those complete sentences straight over into your draft, which can ease the transition of going from planning and outlining to actually drafting. Looking at a blank sheet of paper, or more likely, the blank page in Word, can be really intimidating, and it can kind of make people not want to do that step in the process. I recommend setting a timer for yourself, drafting maybe for 20 minutes, and then go back. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. Give yourself 20 minutes, draft as much as you can, take a little break, take a walk, make a cup of coffee, whatever you need to do, and then come back to it. Setting time limits for your goals and setting clear goals for a session. Like, I'm going to just write about my main point right now, my first main point, is really important for you. So drafting is when you write the entire essay. As you do this, consider who your audience is. Your audience may not be necessarily your teacher. If you're writing a cover letter for a job, your audience might be the hiring manager of that company. If you're writing to people in your industry, that might be a little different from writing to your teacher. If you're writing discussion posts, however, you're probably writing to your classmates, unless you have been told to imagine a specific audience. Choosing an audience might affect the word choices you use and how much background information you bring in, depending on what your audience is likely to know about your topic already. A big thing for me is writing concisely. So this is actually more of a tip for the editing process, but you can keep this in mind as you're writing your draft. If you find yourself using a whole lot of extra words, a lot of fluff, you're not really getting to the point very quickly, strike through anything that is truly unnecessary. If you're repeating a word several times, think about how you can avoid repeating that word and really pack the most punch into it the first time you use it. So, revision has to do with taking your draft and looking it over and thinking about the major elements of it. Does my research support my point? Do I have a solid argument in my thesis statement? Do I need to add research or take away research if it really doesn't work? Do I need to add transitions, move one paragraph to a different part of the essay? This is all what we call global considerations, global issues. That's what we're looking at when we revise. Often students don't think about this step and they kind of skip it. It's very important that you're considering changing at least 20% of your work. And you might be told by your instructor to change a specific percentage, like 30%. So keep that in mind. And then editing and proofreading are the same thing. That's when you go through and you look at what we call local concerns. These are things like APA formatting, spelling, comma usage, subject-verb agreement. I recommend that you make a short list of the things that you are most likely to make mistakes with, keeping in mind whatever feedback your instructor has given you in the past and what you might know is an issue from past work even before you came to Full Sail, and then go through your paper looking for just one issue at a time. So if you know spelling is an issue for you, look through the whole thing for spelling errors only. Once you have done that and made your corrections, now look through just for whatever the next issue is. Takes a while, but it is really, really helpful. Like I said before, there is no shame in taking a break. Breaks can be really good for you. They can reset the brain. Just make sure that you've given yourself enough time to be able to get the most out of your breaks. And make sure you definitely come back to your work later. Printing it out is a great tool if you are able to do so. We have printing in the library. Your brain reads differently off of a screen than it reads off of a sheet of paper. And I've read articles about that, and it's really interesting. I can't really get into particularly why that happens, but suffice it to say that it happens. So you are likely to pick up on issues from reading a sheet of paper than you are off the computer screen. So if you're able to print it out, great. You can also tap into some other learning styles by actually writing on the piece of paper, striking things out, highlighting things. You're getting the kinesthetic sense involved, like you're physically doing an action, and also the visual, especially if you're using different colored ink for different types of issues. And then you reinforce what you learned and double check your work when you input the changes into your Word document. So printing it out can be helpful for various reasons. Reading out loud is great too, because sometimes we can hear things that we don't necessarily see. Things you might hear that you wouldn't see are spelling issues. If you're missing a word, if you're repeating a word too many times, things like that. You can also ask someone to read it out loud to you as you read along silently. I have a friend who wrote a book a couple of years ago, and she had people, including me, come to her house and read it out loud to her, one chapter at a time, and she made changes as I read it. Reading it backwards means that you start with the last sentence, read that, try to make it as perfect as possible, then go to the sentence before that, then the sentence before that. And this makes you isolate each sentence so that you can't depend on the sentence that came before it in order to make sense of it. Each sentence needs to make sense on its own. If you do this, also pay attention to how many ideas you're saying in one sentence. So we want to try to express one idea per sentence in order to make the sentences as clear as possible. That doesn't mean that every sentence needs to be a simple sentence. We do want to vary the sentence structures we use, but try to express one idea, one complete idea per sentence. And I talked about checking for specific errors. That's when you look for one thing at a time. And then the last step is turning it in. Make sure you hit that deadline, and of course, try to turn your work in a little bit before the deadline in case you run into any issues using turnitin.com or FSO or anything like that. And do be aware that FSO is available usually every night until 2 a.m. So they are there for you if you do run into trouble at the last minute. And then the last piece of this presentation is about APA. You will likely use APA in nearly every class you take at Full Sail. So I am just going to show a couple of resources you have at your fingertips. So we do an APA workshop online at the Writing Center every month, and you can find the date for that on Connect here. Normally it would be under upcoming events. Let's see, APA style Friday, January 19th. So that's tomorrow. And you can earn a GPS point for attending. We also have the archived videos of these workshops, both the open house and the APA style workshop, up here on the Writing Center's page under videos. So we offer some helpful files for APA formatting, like how to number pages and this visual guide for APA, which takes you through a sample paper. Also, if you were to look up the Instructional Design and Technology MS degree page, you would find this under their APA Guide References section. And this I really like because it color codes some more commonly used APA citations. So you have who in pink, when it was published in green, what its title is in yellow, and where it came from in blue. And then if there's any extra information, they've put that in purple. So this is not a complete list of every type of APA citation, but it's got ones that you are more likely to use, especially if you're in this particular program, but even if you're not here at Full Sail. The next one I'm showing you is called projectapa.info, and for those who are here, I'll send you the links to these sites. Projectapa.info was created by a Full Sail instructor, Jenny Donovan, for Full Sail students, and you can navigate it through it pretty easily. You can either navigate using the icons here or go to the top and choose from the pull down menus. One thing I love about this, sorry about that, guys. One thing I love about this site, what I'm trying to do here is move my go-to control panel, and I keep hitting the wrong button as I do that, is you can go here to APA paper format, and she gives you guidelines, right? But at the bottom, you can download a checklist, a sample paper, which is similar to the Writing Center's visual guide to APA. They're similar. And an APA template, so that all you have to do is fill in the blanks, essentially. Fill in your title, your running head, it's already set up with your page numbers, with the first page being, the title page being different from the other pages. So this is really cool, really helpful. If you are, so this is not related to APA, but if you are a student for whom English is not your first language, you don't need to be in the intensive English program to look up their site on Connect, just Intensive English if you search for it. And they have a list of grammar tutorials which explain through Adobe videos some grammar rules, very clear cut. I've seen these videos. They work on one rule at a time, so they really isolate one issue at a time. Of course, you don't need to be a second language student to watch these videos too. So take a look at this, especially if you know that there is a particular issue you just can't shake for some reason. And this might make the light bulb go on for you. All right, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. At this point, I will address any questions you have. I am going to end the recording now. So if you're watching the recording, thank you, and come see us at the Writing Center.